I'm not really attracted to moving to places like LA or New York City.
Hold up. How did I go from not being interested in New York at all to all of a sudden wanting to get myself there? Let's just say a lot can change in a year, so let's rewind back to October.
Listen, all you New Yorkers.
I'm Trish, I'm 23, I graduated a year ago and visited New York City back in October.
Oh, I love it. I can't believe we're in New York.
And now, all of a sudden, I'm trying to get myself there.
New York, concrete jungle.
The only problem is, I need to find a job, I don't have any roommates to find a place with, and honestly, the rent is too damn high. But you know what they say, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And who knows how long it'll take me to get to New York City, or if I ever will. I told myself that this year, I won't be afraid seen trying. So if you have a dream too, but are afraid of taking that leap, subscribe and join me as I work through my fears and try to get myself to New York City. Hello?
Hey, Trish, is now still a good time?
Yes, now's still a good time. How are you?
We could either talk immediately about positions that are based out of New York.
Someday we will return in a hybrid fashion.
Currently right now, in terms of like my own personal plans, I do plan on staying in the West Coast for a year or so. I do know right now, into like the earlier stages of my career, probably going to take my time to get to New York City, but I actually plan on moving to New York in a couple years down the line. But that is where my heart's leading me towards. When I came back from New York City, I was at a point where I was kind of growing resentful with the routine I was coming back to. COVID was still pretty bad. My soul was slowly chipping away at my 9-to-5 sales job. I was battling some serious imposter syndrome left and right. I missed my friends, I missed university, and feeling like a child constantly in an adult body. With that being said, despite being in this rut, what kept me flowing was recognizing that I am incredibly grateful for the privileges I have to be with my family, healthy and well, and in a position where I'm allowed to calculate my risks.
There's a poem for Trish about being the main character in New York. Come on, who compares when I am the main act? What calls me is the duel of numbers, the joy of new cities with all the stories. My life will right here.
I love that. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. When I was in New York City, everything just felt so magical. I just felt like I was in the right place at the right time. But at the same time, New York City felt so unattainable. My mind was taking over and I started doubting whether or not I could actually make it to New York City. And I knew personally my next step was to find a job. Now, how do I do that? First, I needed to stop seeing the areas I had disadvantages in and start looking at the places that I had advantages in and could serve to my favor. There is definitely an air to the city that is not like any other, where it really has that if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And I truly believe in the magic of the city. You'll be surprised just by how many people are ready to help you. And it's honestly a numbers game. Sometimes you're going to be rejected. Sometimes you're not even going to get a response back from someone. But when you do, truly value those connections and see if it fits right for you. I knew at my core I wanted to be somewhere creative, where authenticity and expression was valued and appreciated. So definitely throughout my networking process or connecting with people, I kept those values strong to my core and only limited myself to talk to people who also valued that and really lean into the feeling of staying true to myself rather than constantly making myself palatable to a company. With that being said, obviously fit your resume to fit the role, but what I'm saying is don't always try to mold yourself to appease others. You also want to maintain a part of yourself throughout any job hunting process, because at the end of the day, that's going to be your job for however long you'll have it. Like after having conversations with like people this year like you and Bridget and like my friend who's currently in an agency in New York, it's coming more clear to me what I want. So for some context, back in November 2020 when I was still a senior, I applied to the Spotify internship. I knew in my heart I really really wanted that Spotify internship. So while I was getting ready to prepare for my interviews, I started reaching out to people on LinkedIn who did work at Spotify, and luckily for me, I got someone to connect back with me.
Just finesse it somehow. You know? I think like a lot of it is just like gassing yourself up.
No more acting humble. Kidding.
Yeah, no more acting humble. Gas yourself up and like.
He acted as a mentor, and even though I did not get that Spotify internship, I still kept that connection, and he still provided me some valuable advice that I took on into my job hunting journey. I want to be able to create a story with my experiences. Like right now, I want to make myself a narrative that makes sense to the next role I'm going to apply to, and I need help on that. How did you go about it?
Yeah, and like be able to tell a story throughout your different experiences.
Yes.
This is what someone told me when I was applying to this role that I think helped me think about it. Or like even if you had a small part in making something big happen, even if it was just like a really small part, talk about that and like just gas it up, highlight it.
By the time I was ready to find a new job, I just hit him up again. I am ready to actually take a pivot in my career, switch industries, and seek out more creative opportunities. I get so lost in the task that I forget the impact I have. And yes. I need to remind myself like the impact of like the things I've done, because I'm sure like I know like all that work wasn't for nothing. Like all that work must have reached more people.
100%.
When it comes to relationships, it's so natural for us to place more value and importance in the stronger ties that keep us in tight groups. But people tend to underestimate the importance of weaker ties. You know, like that one kid in all of your classes, or passing by your neighbor, or seeing a classmate in the coffee line. Those weak ties are likely to be more influential in connecting you to the next opportunity. And for me, that was reaching out to my marketing classmate from junior year who moved to New York City for her new job at an ad agency.
You know, I think finding that right connection is the hardest, because like you do all these informationals hoping you get pushed forward. You know, that's the goal of doing all these, right? To keep pushing forward, to like connect with new people. I think it's finding about you just need one person, and you need one person to push you forward, one person to believe in you, and you'll never know.
Hello?
Hey, Trish, is now still a good time?
Yes, now's still a good time. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing? But I do have some good news that'll hopefully help a little.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
So, the team loves you. They thought that you would be an excellent fit for the team.
So, I got the job, and
I can't scream how thankful I am even louder.
But this is just the beginning of my journey of getting myself to New York City. So subscribe, hit that like button below, and leave a comment. Because you and I, we're gonna go through this together. From the apartment hunting, to penny pinching, to the hustle and the struggle, and everything that comes with moving to New York.